Geelong, the greatest team of all.
Right, to talk about yesterday's big one down at Geelong, coaches Billy Goggin and Tom Hafey with Lou Richards.
Billy, it was a great win, 19 points, but at one stage I think you led by 54 points in the last quarter. What happened to Geelong at that stage of the match to let Collingwood get so close?
Yes, it was a complete turnaround to the way the game was going. I think the players probably let themselves down when I've taken David Clark off and replaced him with John Newman. It appeared to me that that was a signal for the players to say that was the end of the game. Of course, Collingwood kicked a couple of quick goals and suddenly two more and they started to panic. But it appeared to me that that was the reason. I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, did you go to look at the players after the game because of the way that their attitude towards that the closing stage of the match?
I haven't said anything to them yet, of course.
You will?
Oh, of course, and I know the players themselves have had a reaction to it because even after the game, the players themselves looked like they'd had a letdown because they really knew that they should have won by at least 10 goals, and to only scramble in certainly wasn't good.
Tommy, a great first quarter, you looked good, and then what happened after that? They just looked slow and they looked languid and they didn't chase, and they made lots of mistakes by jumping into each other's backs. Now, what did you have to say about your side?
Well, our first quarter was really terrific,
yes,
but we just didn't sustain the pace and the pressure, and Geelong just after that dominated the ball from the centre bounce. I think that was probably the important part of the game, and they just ran a lot more.
Well, Tommy, you know, you're the coach, but why do you think your side went like that? Was it because Geelong was so good, or were you so bad?
Oh, I think it's probably a bit of both, but Geelong certainly increased, you know, the pressure themselves and did a lot more running after quarter time. I noticed Billy kept the players there for a long time at quarter time.
Yes.
You know, and I don't know what he had to say, but it was certain, what he did say worked, of course, because we just struggled to win the ball. They just had the ball all the time. We couldn't get it from
did that have an effect on you, the lapse between the starting of the second quarter and the time he finished speaking, because you were running on at that stage, weren't you?
Oh, no, I didn't think that, no. No, it's just that the Geelong players certainly rallied and really lifted for the second and the third quarters.
Tommy, how long can you carry a guy like Kink the way he's playing at the moment? Well, let's be honest, that's what every Collingwood supporter said to me after the game. How long is this guy going to be in the team?
Yes, well, he's, you know, I think we've answered this question.
Yeah, I know, but it's getting worse every week, isn't it?
Well, I thought he was on his way back a bit last week, Lou, and the week before. I thought he played a little bit better, and he is an important player in our side when he's firing, of course. And I know that we've been terribly patient, hoping that he will come good. And I don't know if I can say any further than that,
no,
you know,
I'm not,
because we have certainly given him every opportunity. I think everybody would agree on that.
Well, could I just ask this, would he be dropped next week? Or is there a chance he could be dropped?
Well, there is that chance, Lou, because, you know, our selection did have a bit of a meeting after the game, but, you know, we just discussed some of those things, but not complete.
Billy, when the game started, it was quite obvious that Young was going to tag Clark, and he did a very good job of it. Were you concerned about that at all? Did you have any tactics to use against that plan of Collingwood's?
Well, it's been happening now for a number of weeks where opposition clubs have been picking up our ruck rate.
Well, how can you counter that?
Well, I felt it counted itself by the fact that Bruce Nankervis was able to play so well. I was a little bit disappointed that David was inclined to be got in a little bit by Young, but also it might have had reason to be concerned that he wasn't being treated quite as fairly as perhaps he should have been. But I would think that David's probably got to run more than what he did yesterday and probably work harder. But Young's a pretty good footballer. I felt that while it never helped Clark's game at all, it didn't help Young's game. I think he's a pretty talented player.
Billy, if that happened to you out on the ground and you were a pretty tough, tenacious road, what would be your tactics to a player like that? There must be a way you can stop a player from tagging you like that.
Well, of course, you just have to keep moving, Lou, and running. Of course, there's a physical aspect which probably you probably want to consider, but I don't think that's the obvious answer because you're not going to hurt anyone anyhow. But the thing is to keep running and moving, and I felt that Young did an excellent job with it, but there's not too many players can keep up with David Clark, so if anyone else wants to keep doing it, they're going to have to be extremely fit and have a lot of concentration. And usually David Clark has been able to get away from this type of covering player, but Tommy had Young do it very, very well, because usually we can sometimes slide away and perhaps hide Clark on a half-forward flank or in a forward pocket, but Young went with him wherever he went, right onto the back line as well.
Tommy, is this the end for Collingwood as far as the grand final is concerned?
No, I don't think so, Lou. You know, I think that it could be what is needed. I know we didn't look good yesterday, but we'd had 2 good quarters. Geelong, a very difficult side to beat down there. And I suppose the thing that could only be said is that, well, we hope that we can learn. We'll probably pick a better side next week. And the finals aren't played at Geelong.
They're played at the MCG and Wave, which suits your style of play.
Well, I think so.
Billy, Bob's coming in by all means, and thanks, Tommy. And Billy, you had some question to ask me before
I just got to know when you're coming, Lou.
Well,
a lot of people down Geelong waiting for you.
Well, Billy,
I don't want to be in the tub myself, but seeing you put me there, I'll have to go.
Well, you're in the tub, and we'll announce this in the Sun tomorrow what time we'll be down at Geelong. It'll probably be lunchtime on Tuesday between 12 and 12:30. And we do hope that a few Geelong supporters turn up, because we'll put a life jacket on you, and if things get a bit tough, we'll have to throw you overboard. You don't mind that, do you?
We might have to put water wings on you too, won't we, Billy?
There's a few waiting, so Lou, I think
I know
I'll pull the
there
plug
are.
out down there if they get a chance.
But I must say this, Bill, I love going to Geelong because I reckon they were a tremendous crowd, and when I came out... At any rate, you come down with me, Tommy.
Forget it.
Are you claiming him today, Tom? No, that's right.
Anyway, I must say this, Tommy Hafey was tremendous. He went to Sam Newman's 300th party last night, and that was great.
It was.
So I'm finishing now, mate.
Well, for each... So what's Billy?
Yeah,
What
I'm
is
just very pleased that Bob was able to bring Graham Farmer over yesterday for John Newman's 300th game, because Polly's probably had the greatest influence on John Newman than any other person.
I think it was a nice gesture that Tommy went last night.
Oh, I think it's great, yes.
Thanks, Lou.
For each of you from
Free meal, too,
Tesleys,
that's
we've got this
something to do with
magnificent
it,
tea, Jess. From Europe, we've got the lemon yogurt, lovely biscuit rolls there. A new item, the CRC 556. It stops all the rusty parts. It's marvellous for that. From Ballantyne's is tasty cheese, and genuine. These are a pair of towels, not pillow slips or curtains. From Treasury, beautiful set of towels. There we are.
Canberra Television Club Award. These were the votes by Lou Richards for yesterday's Geelong-Collingwood game. Progressive figures, Rod Blake is the leader by 3 votes at Geelong, and Peter Moore the leader, a clear leader, at Collingwood in the Canberra